Here we are, rounds 3 and 4 of the 2021 AMSOIL Championship Off-Road Campaign. Take a cruise down memory lane with us to where we were 1 year ago, heading into the second stop of the tour at Dirt City Motorplex in this rewind presented by Falken Tire. The all-new venue put on an unforgettable display of exhilarating short-course racing right out of the gate. They did so again for the second day, against seemingly all odds. They gave us an incredible track despite heavy storms that nearly put a damper on round 4. Here's how it all went down. In Pro 4 action on Saturday, Kyle LeDuc arrived in Lena guns a-blazing after catching back-to-back wins in rounds 1 and 2. LeDuc qualified first, and after drawing a 0 for the invert, he was once again lining up on the front row next to Adrian Cheney, who got the jump on the first lap. In tow was CJ Greaves, who, at the time, was admittedly working out bugs in the new truck. CJ worked his way up to second, and it became clear that he had figured out a few things on the 33, pressuring LeDuc on the tight, twisting track. LeDuc took a rut in turn 4, twisting his truck midair in front of Greaves. It was the opening Greaves needed. From there on out, he didn't miss a mark and claimed the win. Johnny Greaves finished second ahead of Jimmy Henderson, who picked up his second podium of the season. Not far behind the trio was LeDuc, who attempted a few late race charges on Henderson. On Sunday, after an AM torrential downpour, qualifying was scrapped and the lineup was based off of points, with a 2-car invert by a random draw. That had LeDuc lining up on the inside along CJ. LeDuc would gain the lead early and lead the balance of the first half. Then a spin just before the competition yellow would set him back a few spots. He rallied back for the win. From start to checkers, drivers were faced with a night and day difference in the racing surface. The difference maker, LeDuc said? Tire selection, a gamble that paid dividends. Johnny Greaves and Andrew Carlson diced for several laps before Carlson was forced to pull off the track. Soon after, CJ moved up into a podium position and slipped past Johnny for second. Pro 2 was equally as eventful. Kyle Kleinman negotiated around the leaders quickly to set the pace. Known as a strong closer, his reputation preceded him as he pulled the fastest time on lap 11. It gave him enough separation over Kincaid, who worked his way up to second by lap 7 when he got around Thomas. Zachary Kirchner, who started on the front row and ran towards the front for the majority, found an extra gear late in the race to finish third. On Sunday, after having a mechanical and dropping out of Saturday's race, Mickey Thomas turned things around with his first series win on Sunday. A rocket ship from the start, he was on point for the entire 12-lapper. Behind him blazed the battle of the weekend between Kincaid and Kleinman. Lap after lap, the two pirouetted in tandem without a hint of contact. At the end, Kincaid was runner-up and Kleinman rounded out the podium. In Pro LITE, the man to beat was Kyle Greaves. Much like his second-round win, he had to work his way from the back after he pulled a 6th on the inversion. Ahead of him was John Holcher, who wasted no time getting out front. He made some great adjustments after qualifying, finding more than a second per lap in the final. He held point for 3 laps before Greaves took over as Holcher found himself up on the bike. He quickly regrouped and ran second. Chad Rayford made his return to Pro LITE a success to finish third after missing the first 2 rounds. On Sunday, Holcher and Greaves had a great race going early on, each grabbing the lead with an aggressive, clean pass one after another. The fight continued for several laps before Holcher hit a rut coming out of turn 5, giving Greaves breathing room to pick up his 4th win of the year. Holcher did everything in his power to track down Greaves, but with heavy pressure from proven vets Cody Kleinman and Zach Schimmick. It was Can-Am's Kyle Cheney in Pro Mod side-by-side that set a pace that was only bested by the Pro 4 class. He started front row next to Rodney Van Eperen, setting the fans up for what would be a spectacular race. Van Eperen led the first 2 laps, Cheney the next 5. A spin on lap 8 would take Cheney out of contention and reopen the door for Van Eperen, who went on to earn his first victory of the season. Carlson would make several charges at the leaders, closing the gap on Van Eperen over the past few laps. However, a last lap bobble opened the door for Luke Stubbs in second. Sunday was all systems go for Cheney, who found the right lines for his first win of 2020. Cheney, Scotty Lawrence, and CJ Greaves would have blanket coverage for the first half. In the second, Cheney would duke it out with CJ. By the time the checkers flew, Cheney had a 6-second lead over CJ. Lawrence rounded out the top 3. In Pro Stock side-by-side action, CJ Greaves went 3 for 3 in round 3. Jack Letourneau held point for first 3 laps before CJ Greaves was able to skirt past. A few laps later, Van Eperen squeaked by where they would finish, respectively. Day 2 provided a new set of challenges as Pro Stock was the first division of the day to hit the rain-soaked course. CJ quickly got around race leader Robert Loire 2 laps in on the very slick track. From there on out, not much passing happened up front. Loire motored home to his second podium of the season, followed by Jason Luberg. That's a wrap. Coming up next on our 2020 Rewind presented by Falken Tire, we're heading back to the high banks of ERX Motor Park in Elk River, Minnesota for rounds 5 and 6.